Let's begin, shall we? Let's peel back the myth and look at the festering wound beneath. Let's talk about you. You are born in the year 55 AD, not in Rome, not even in a place that knows what Rome truly is, other than a bad omen on the horizon. Your nursery is a damp northern forest in Germania. Your father is a chieftain, a man whose authority is derived from the weight of his axe and the strength of his yell. Your mother, a weaver of wool and prophecies. Your world is one of mud, honor, and the smell of pine. You are not destined for greatness, just for a simple, brutal continuation of the life your ancestors lived. But here's the thing about Rome, it has a habit of interrupting destiny. Your fate was sealed not by the Norns, but by the relentless efficiency of a Roman legion. You have a single, searing childhood memory that will curdle in your gut for the rest of your short life. You are 7 years old, hidden in the woods, watching your village burn. You see your father, his great beard matted with blood, fall under a flurry of short, ruthlessly practical swords. You see the eagle standard, the aquila, a thing of polished, indifferent gold, catch the light of your burning home. It is the moment you learn that your gods are, at best, local celebrities with no jurisdiction against an empire. Your path is no longer your own. It is a ditch being dug by Roman shovels, and you are simply the wastewater destined to flow through it. You are captured, not as a warrior, but as collateral damage. Your childhood officially ends at age 15. You are sold. The location of your transformation is the Ludus Magnus, right in the shadow of the soon-to-be-completed Flavian amphitheater. It smells of unwashed bodies, fear, and something metallic that might be blood or just cheap wine. Your new father is a lanista, a man named Marcus Badiatus, who looks at you not as a boy, but as a lump of clay he might be able to shape into a sellable vase. He owns you. Every cell in your body is his asset. The methodology of your new education is simple: pain. The first tool they place in your hand is a gladius, but it's made of solid wood and is twice the weight of the real thing. Your first lesson is to strike a waterlogged wooden post, the palace, 1,000 times. Your muscles shred, your bones feel like they're grinding into powder, and your sweat pools in the dust. You fail constantly. In one training exercise, a mock duel, you trip over your own feet. Your trainer, a scarred Numidian with dead eyes, doesn't shout. He walks over and lashes your back with a thin, knotted cord of leather. The pain is electric, but it's the coldness of the act that freezes your soul. It's not punishment. It's calibration. He's simply tuning an instrument. Your individuality is a luxury you can no longer afford. Your name is gone. You are now just Germanus. They strip your empathy away next. The man you share a stale piece of bread with in the morning is the same man you are ordered to try and maim in the afternoon. You learn to see other men not as people, but as a collection of weaknesses and openings. Now for the gilded lie. The poets, the graffiti artists, the drunken senators in the stands will all call you a hero, a warrior, a modern-day Hercules. They will admire your virtus, your masculine courage. They will roar your name as if you are a god descended to the sands of the arena. Let's violently contrast that pretty picture with the biological hell of your day-to-day. Hygiene? You and 50 other men share a stone latrine. The stench is a physical presence, a constant assault on your senses that clings to your skin and hair. You are cleaner when you are covered in your own blood than you are after washing in the tepid, murky water of the communal bath. Your diet. You are a horderius, a barley man. You eat a thick, gray porridge of barley and beans twice a day, every day. It's not food. It's fuel. It's designed to pack on a layer of subcutaneous fat over your muscle, a cheap, biological shield to protect you from superficial cuts that might otherwise end a fight too early. You drink a tonic of ash and sour wine, a disgusting sludge meant to supplement your calcium and help mend your perpetually stressed bones. Health? Every minor cut, every splinter, every scrape is an invitation for infection. You watch a Thracian, a man who survived 3 arena duels, die over the course of a week, shivering with fever from a simple infected wound on his leg. This is the vile reality. You are a celebrated icon who lives in filth, eats slop, and dies from germs. But then, a funny thing happens. You get good at it. The rhythm of violence becomes second nature. The constant training hardens your body into something terrifyingly efficient. Your peak arrives in the year 80 AD, during the inaugural games of the structure you watched being built, the one they now call the Colosseum. The setup is a spectacle. The Emperor Titus himself is presiding. You are a secutor, the chaser. Your armor is minimal, but your helmet is a vision of dread, a smooth, featureless dome with two tiny eye holes, designed to deflect the trident of your opponent. And your opponent is the legendary Callistus, or Retiarius, a master of the net and trident, a crowd favorite known for his agility and cruel showmanship. The stakes couldn't be higher. To lose is to die. To win, in this arena, on this day, is to achieve a twisted form of immortality. The execution is a masterpiece of brutal pragmatism. The roar of 50,000 souls is a physical pressure, but you don't hear it. You only hear the scrape of your sandals on the sand and the sound of your own breathing inside the claustrophobic helmet. Callistus is fast, dancing around you, flicking his net, trying to entangle you. But you are a wall of relentless forward motion. You don't chase him. You hurt him. Using your large, rectangular shield, the scutum, you systematically cut off his ankles, shrinking the arena, forcing him toward the wall. He throws the net. You drop into a low crouch, the weighted cords whipping over your head. He tries to recover it, but you are already moving, a locomotive of muscle and bronze. The climax is not elegant. He lunges with his trident, a desperate act. You don't block it. You absorb the impact with your shield, the prongs screeching against the metal boss. The force jars your entire arm, but you hold your ground. In that moment of impact, you are inside his reach. You don't even need a full swing. It's a short, economical thrust from the hip. Your gladius, that brutally simple tool, slides into his exposed side, just below the ribs. The aftermath is clinical. He drops his trident. He looks at you with surprise, then falls to his knees, clutching the wound. The crowd is a chaotic sea of noise. You plant your foot on his trident and stand over him, sword pointed at his throat, and look up at the imperial box. You are a performer waiting for your final review. Titus, ever the showman, holds his hand out, and after a moment of pure theater, turns his thumb down. You don't hesitate. You drive the gladius through his neck to sever the spinal cord. It is a quick, professional death. A mercy. Your reputation is no longer just graffiti on a wall. It is a legend forged in the most famous arena in the world. Your daily grind, however, remains unchanged. You wake in your cell. You eat the gray sludge. You train. You inspect your gear. You eat the gray sludge again. You sleep. The fame is an abstraction, a noise outside the walls of the ludus. The monotony is the only tangible truth. And then comes the societal contempt, a constant reminder of your actual place in this world. You are walked through the city streets to the arena, and the same citizens who will cheer your name in an hour part before you like you are a disease. They admire the product, but are disgusted by the process. You are infamia. A specific law, the Lex Julia Municipalis, officially classifies you with actors and prostitutes, denying you basic civil rights. One day, a wealthy merchant, seeing the admiring glance his wife gives you, spits on the ground at your feet. You could break him in half with your bare hands, but his word in a court of law is gospel, and yours is less than nothing. You are a celebrated thing, not a person. The final turn of the screw in this vicious cycle comes when your lanista, pleased with your performance, gives you a privilege. You are to help train the new stock. The first boy he shoves in front of you is a terrified teenager from your own tribe, with the same pale hair and frightened blue eyes you once had. You are now required to become the very instrument of brutality that unmade you. Years pass. The peak is a distant memory. Your body, a map of scar tissue and lingering pain, is starting to betray you. The breaking point doesn't arrive in a grand amphitheater, but in a dusty, provincial arena in España. The situation is entirely routine. A minor festival game. A way for a local magistrate to curry favor with the plebs. Your opponent is not a legend, just a young, strong Celt who fights with more enthusiasm than skill. It should be a simple day at the office. But as you advance, a flicker of something goes wrong in the wiring of your brain. For a split second, you don't see the Celt. You see the face of that terrified Germanic boy you were forced to train. You see the fear in his eyes. It's a moment of profound, unwelcome empathy. A fatal error. Your forward momentum slows almost imperceptibly, but it's enough. The Celt, likely as surprised as you are, swings his sword wildly. It's a clumsy, artless blow, one you would have easily deflected in your prime. Instead, it catches you high on the thigh, slicing through muscle and sinew. The pain is sharp, but the shock is worse. You recover instantly, disarm him, and force a submission. You win the match. But as the medics carry you from the sand, leaving a trail of your own blood, you see the cold, appraising look in your Lannista's eyes. It's the look a farmer gives to a lame horse. He is not seeing his champion. He is calculating a financial loss. You know, with absolute certainty, that your career as a top-tier performer is over. The wound will heal, but you will have a permanent limp. Your invincibility, the only thing that gave you value, has just bled out into the Spanish dust. This is the point of no return. The internal erosion begins that night. The real horror is never the sword. It's the silence that follows. The haunting starts with nightmares. You're back in the Colosseum, but the crowd is silent, and the man you killed, Callistus, stands before you, his wounds gone, simply holding his net and trident, watching you. You wake up sweating, your heart hammering against your ribs. The paranoia takes root in the waking hours. Every whisper in the barracks is about your weakness. Every glance from a younger gladiator is a threat assessment. The arena, once a stage for your skill, now feels like a tomb waiting to be sealed. You discover your anesthetic of choice, cheap wine. It's sour, acidic, and barely qualifies as a beverage, but it's effective. It dulls the throbbing in your leg, and more importantly, it dulls the memories. You begin to drink before your less demanding training sessions, telling yourself it's for the pain. Soon, you are drinking from the moment you wake until you pass out. The discipline that kept you alive for a decade evaporates. In one drunken haze, you get into a slobbering, pathetic brawl with another aging gladiator over a wineskin. You, the legend of the Colosseum, are rolling in the dirt like a common drunk. Your new addiction is a fast-acting solvent, and it's dissolving the last remaining pillar of your identity, the disciplined warrior. Your body, once a temple of lethality, becomes a neglected, bloated ruin. Your end is as predictable as it is pathetic. The Lanista doesn't have you killed in the arena. You're not worth the spectacle anymore. One day, he simply calls you forward and hands you the rudis, the wooden sword that symbolizes freedom. It is not an act of mercy. It is a business decision. Your maintenance now costs more than your potential earnings. You are free. You walk out of the Ludus gates with a limp, a handful of coins, and a skill set that is utterly useless in a civilized world. The final setting of your life is not a grand villa, but a succession of squalid, windowless rooms in Rome's Subura district, the city's teeming, wretched slum. You find work where a man with your history finds work. As a bouncer for a tavern that smells of spilled beer and desperation, as an enforcer for a small-time loan shark. The glorious cause of your death is not a well-aimed sword thrust or a noble sacrifice. You are in a back alley dice game. You are drunk, as usual. An argument breaks out over a few sesterti. A young street tough, emboldened by his friends, challenges you. He pulls a knife. 10 years ago, you would have disarmed him and broken his arm without spilling your drink. But you are slow now. Your reflexes are pickled in wine. Your leg gives way at the crucial moment. He stabs you, a clumsy, frantic motion that sinks the rusty blade into your gut. It's not even a fatal wound, not right away. But you are dragged into the street and left in the gutter. Your final moments are spent lying on cold, damp cobblestones, watching the rain wash the blood and filth into the cloaca maxima, the great sewer. There is no roaring crowd, no emperor to judge your performance. Your death is an anonymous, septic affair. An infection from the filthy blade does what dozens of trained killers could not. You die of a fever, alone, your last breath a foul-smelling wheeze. Your passing is a minor inconvenience, another piece of human refuse to be cleared from the streets before morning. Your body is carted off and dumped into a puticulus, a common burial pit with hundreds of other nameless poor. You are forgotten before the sun rises. This is the immediate oblivion. Now, let's jump forward. 2,000 years. Your miserable life has been laundered by time. In a museum, a child stares in wonder at a sleek, polished secular helmet. A historian on a television special, standing in front of the Colosseum, will speak with great passion about the discipline and warrior ethos of the gladiator. He will not mention the gray sludge or the septic infections. Then comes the ultimate indignity, a movie. A handsome actor with perfect teeth will play you. He will be a rebellious hero fighting a corrupt emperor. He will not have a drinking problem or a weeping leg wound. He will get the girl and ride into the sunset. Here is the final, sobering truth. Your suffering has been completely and utterly erased, replaced by a heroic, marketable fiction. Your life, a short, brutal, and largely meaningless existence as an enslaved entertainer, has been repurposed as an inspiring tale of strength and honor. History, you see, is not the story of the life that was lived. It is the sanitized, comforting fable the living tell themselves so they don't have to think about the pain, the fear, and the profound, soul-crushing misery that built their world.